The map of Europe looks permanent, fixed, stable, unquestioned. Borders appear as if they have always existed, as if the nations we see today are the final version of history. But what if one of the most powerful countries ever simply vanished? Not slowly, not through gradual decline, but erased so completely that today, most people barely recognize its name. No flag flying, no government claiming its legacy, no clear trace in modern identity. This is the story of Prussia, a state that once shaped the destiny of Europe, influenced global systems, and built a reputation feared across continents, only to be deliberately removed from existence as if it had never truly belonged on the map at all. Prussia began in one of the least promising regions of Europe, along the cold and often unforgiving Baltic coast. It was not a land of wealth or natural advantage, and it lacked the population and resources that defined other rising powers of its time. Yet what it did have was structure, a growing belief that order, discipline, and efficiency could overcome limitations that geography had imposed. Over time, its rulers built a system where every part of society served a purpose. Schools trained obedience and focus, governance emphasized precision, and even daily life reflected a culture of control. This was not a nation driven by luxury or expansion alone, but by a mindset that valued organization above everything else. By the 18th century, Prussia had transformed from an overlooked region into a force that demanded attention. Its army became its most defining feature, not because it was the largest, but because it operated with unmatched discipline. Soldiers were trained to move as one, to execute orders with near-perfect timing, and to maintain composure even under extreme pressure. This created a reputation that spread across Europe, turning Prussia into both respected and feared. While other nations relied on numbers or tradition, Prussia relied on preparation and control. It was a different kind of power, one that did not need to appear dominant to be effective, yet quietly reshaped the balance of power wherever it intervened. Everything changed under Frederick the Great, a ruler whose leadership pushed Prussia into a new era. He understood that survival in a hostile environment required more than strength. It required intelligence, adaptability, and bold decision-making. Facing enemies that were larger and better equipped, Frederick used speed, surprise, and strategic thinking to gain the upper hand. His most defining challenge came during the 7 Years' War, where multiple powerful nations united against him, expecting a quick victory. Instead, Prussia endured. Against overwhelming odds, it held its ground and even strengthened its position, proving that discipline combined with strategy could overcome seemingly impossible circumstances. Following this period, Prussia's influence extended beyond the battlefield and into governance, education, and administration. Its systems became models studied across Europe, admired for their efficiency and reliability, but Prussia was not satisfied with influence alone. There was a growing ambition to unify the fragmented German states into a single powerful entity under its leadership. This vision required more than military strength. It demanded careful diplomacy, strategic alliances, and calculated conflicts. Over time, the disciplined foundation Prussia had built allowed it to pursue this goal with precision, setting the stage for a transformation that would redefine the political structure of Central Europe. That transformation came under Otto von Bismarck, a leader who mastered the balance between diplomacy and force. He understood that unification could not rely on idealism alone, but needed careful timing and controlled conflict. Through a series of calculated wars and political maneuvers, he gradually brought the German states together under Prussian leadership. Each decision was deliberate, designed to strengthen Prussia's position while weakening opposition. The result was the formation of the German Empire in 1871, with Prussia at its core. For a moment, it seemed like the ultimate success story. A once overlooked region had become the driving force behind one of the most powerful empires in the world. However, the same qualities that made Prussia powerful also began to shape its future in more complex ways. Its emphasis on discipline, hierarchy, and military strength became deeply embedded in the identity of the new empire. As Europe moved toward an era of rising tensions, alliances, and competition, these traits became both an advantage and a risk. The systems that once ensured stability now contributed to a structure increasingly involved in large-scale conflicts. As global wars emerged, the legacy of Prussian organization and militarism became intertwined with events that would reshape the world, placing it at the center of forces far beyond its original intentions. The devastation of the 20th century, particularly after the Second World War, brought a decisive end to Prussia's existence. The destruction and consequences of the conflict forced a complete rethinking of political systems across Europe. For the victorious powers, Prussia represented more than just a historical state. It symbolized a tradition of militarism that they sought to eliminate. In 1947, Prussia was officially abolished. Its territories were divided among neighboring regions, and its name was removed from political use. Unlike other empires that gradually declined or evolved into new forms, Prussia was deliberately dismantled, its identity erased in a way that few nations have ever experienced. Today, Prussia survives only in history books, yet its influence can still be seen in subtle but powerful ways. Modern administrative systems, military organization, and even aspects of education carry traces of its legacy. Despite this, its name has largely disappeared from everyday awareness, making it one of the most significant yet forgotten powers in history. Its story serves as a reminder that no matter how strong or influential a nation becomes, it is never truly permanent. Power can rise through discipline and vision, but it can also vanish when circumstances demand change, leaving behind only echoes of a past that once seemed unbreakable. And perhaps that is the most unsettling part of this story. Prussia did not collapse into chaos, nor did it slowly fade into irrelevance. It was removed, intentionally, decisively, and almost completely. A nation that once stood at the center of European power was reduced to a memory, its identity absorbed and scattered. It raises a question that lingers beyond history itself. If something as powerful as Prussia can disappear so completely, then how permanent are the nations we see today? As powerful as Prussia once was, its story leaves behind a quiet but important reminder: nothing in this world is truly permanent. Nations rise, dominate, and shape history, but even the strongest can disappear when the tide turns, and sometimes they don't just fall, they're erased. If you found this story interesting, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more powerful stories like this. And let me know in the comments, which lost empire should we cover next?